Morning. I've joined Etisalat about 1.5 years ago. I've worked in a number of functions within the organisation, mainly covering sales and marketing. My role at the moment is VP Marketing for Etisalat. I've been here about a year. I've worked all over Europe, Germany, UK, France, and so on. And I must say, what a wonderful country we live in here. When I look around, well, what's going on in the Middle East, Africa, and indeed Eastern Europe right now, I'm very happy to be here. I really don't want to go back to Europe anymore. While I've been here, I've studied Arab history, read numerous books on UAE history. I look at the wisdom and the philosophies of the founding fathers of the UAE, Sheikh Zayed, and I must say I'm absolutely inspired. Nothing but admiration and respect for him and everything he stood for with all his philosophies for the UAE. And obviously Sheikh Zayed with Sheikh Khalifa and Sheikh Mohammed, they're extremely focused on taking these learnings on board and building what I can only say, for me anyway, is a paradise on earth. Not just for Emiratis, but for all the good people that live and work here and contribute to the growth and prosperity of the nation. All working, I would say, towards a vision of the perfect place to live, work, develop, prosper, and raise your families. I've been involved in a number of high-level strategic workshops and meetings with the government in developing solutions for the smart city, which I'm sure you've all heard of. I can tell you that the number of investment projects and the amount of money that has been allocated towards projects is huge. And the projects that are getting in the pipeline, which I can only say is in readiness for Expo, are unsurpassed by anything I have ever seen from any other country in the world. We are talking about connected cars, connected highways, connected homes, connected meters, fridges, ovens, security, appliances, and so on. All the things that Paul was mentioning earlier. The digital world is coming. Connected offices, connected businesses, and of course a whole range of connected services from the government, and connected health, connected banking, connected communications. It's a very, very exciting time for all of us here. And Etisalat is very proud to be at the forefront of this evolution, and we're determined to make it happen, because obviously we're working very closely with the government to enhance the quality of life for all of our customers, for every resident within the UAE. But to do this, we don't just focus on the smart city, which is very high level, but we have to focus, for me, on something else, which is the drivers of the economy, the smart SME. And if you look at the actual SME database of what we have here today, if I can get this flicker to work, perhaps not. There's about 250,000 SMEs in the UAE. The exact figure is dependent on the metrics you use to define what is a SME. In government statistics, it's all to do with the number of employees, the vertical market, the turnover, and so on, so we can get a high level and a low level, so we can actually budget and then position it. Then we can build the macroeconomics, which is relevant to the GDP and the output. But we recognize that the SMEs are the backbone of growth for the economy. And for Etisalat, our job, or my job, is to help the SMEs grow and develop. It's only by you growing, Etisalat can grow. So you could say we have a deep, vested interest to help all SMEs become smarter at doing business. Now, Etisalat, obviously, is not a SME. And we, I guess, over the years, being a huge organization, running into 18 different countries, top 50 company in the world. Yes, we're in the top 50 companies in the world. That's how big Etisalat is. But we're getting more agile, and we're going through a transformation program at the moment with a number of strategic initiatives to empower and drive growth within the SME sector. Now, this is what I'm in charge of. This is my remit. Now, we're rapidly developing a foundation of platforms, products, and services to take all of the UAE's SMEs into what we call the smart zone. The smart zone is a smarter way of doing business. Connected communications, a connected workforce, connected supply chain, connected finance, and connected HR, connected people, connected training. All of these things we're working on developing like a business in a box. And this is coming, and it's coming just for SMEs. But dare I say it, with all the smartest products, services, and solutions, really the only efficient way for a business to operate, if you want to obviously improve yourselves, your model, your operations, you have to embrace smarter ways of working. In the true sense of the word, sometimes we have to adopt change. Everyone goes through the process of change, whether you're a small organization, mid-size, or even a large size. You have to keep moving forward. You have to keep changing. It's a process of evolution. On the subject of change, I just want to share some quotes with you, with some famous people I've worked with over the years, although I haven't worked with one of them, which is Einstein. I'm not that old. But if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. It's an adaptation of change. You cannot solve a problem by using the same kind of thinking that created them. You have to change and think in a different way. Minds are like parachutes. They work best when they are open. And one I love more than any other is innovation is the ability to convert ideas into invoices. Not bad, huh? So, we move on to the drivers of the SMEs, which is the people. Smart people run SMEs. Older people like myself work in large corporates. But what are you in business for? You're in business to do business. And this is one of the main things that everyone has been telling me over the years, in particular Richard Branson, who I worked for many years ago. You are in business to do business. Making money is simply a byproduct of doing business well, efficiently, and effectively by managing your business operations in a smarter way. If you do this, you will make money. The people that run SMEs, we know, are sort of love the entrepreneurial way of life and the thrill of growing and developing a business. I've done this myself in the past, and there's nothing quite like it. But businesses cannot be built just on finding a gap in the market, improving efficiency, doing sales. It's based on people. And the lesson that we've all learned is that the smarter the people you have in the business, the better the business will perform. So your people have to get smart. And if you are truly in business to do business, which is why we're here today, you have to get connected. And let's face it, in business, you have to get connected with smart people that are connected people. The more connections and the more smarter people, the better you will get connected yourself. And it's networking, right? So we are also working on a whole range of things to help this happen, which is the collaboration tools, mindshare, and what I really truly believe in is having a connected SME community, which is what my goal is. And this is why we're here today, in the first of our Business Connect series, where we hope to build a platform of business insights from a whole range of speakers over the series to help enrich our UAE's SMEs. So on behalf of Etisalat, I'm very glad to sponsor these events, and I promise to be a very active participant. And on behalf of Etisalat and SME Advisor, thank you all for coming. Let's get connected. Thank you.
Steve, if I can just ask you just to stay there for 1 second, Steve, because fantastic paper.
I need to go to the toilet.
Not quite yet, not quite yet. If I can open questions to ladies and gentlemen on the floor, please. Just to lead with a question for you, if I may, Steve. I'm just going to be devil's advocate.
Okay.
You said that the dream at Etisalat is a connected SME community. Now, my guess would be that you have a presence in, 16, 17 countries at the moment. Now, it's
18.
18. It's probably a pretty fair guess that amongst the demographic there, 70% of that demographic aren't in a position at the moment to entertain 4G connectivity, right? Many of them will still be at the level of a feature phone, for example, and they're using feature phones in multi-business applications. How are you progressing with overcoming what must be an immense challenge, particularly given the new role you've taken up as very much a champion of SME marketing? What are you doing internationally to upgrade people to ultimate connectivity? Can I ask you that?
Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer at the moment, Paul, because with Etisalat, the way it is at the moment, we have separate P&Ls for separate countries, and then we have a group organization. So we're working towards aligning everybody throughout all of the different silos, so to speak, into one group function. Where this helps, particularly for people doing business in the UAE, and we've done some recent analysis with regards to where people communicate. So, for example, at the high end of SME, all of the traffic from mobile and fixed lines, the number one destination is India.
Really? Is that so? No.
Yeah. We have a presence in India.
Yeah.
2 is Pakistan. We have a presence in Pakistan. 3 is Africa. We have a presence across Africa. So what this means is that Etisalat, as opposed to any other operator, is able to offer, or will be offering, a whole range of roaming packages across all of the Etisalat destinations. This is no different to what other operators do in Europe, but Etisalat is uniquely positioned to do that. And obviously, once I take over group, hopefully I'll be able to put together a whole range of other stuff to...
We're looking forward to that moment.
Yeah,
We're looking, our sponsorship expectations are looking forward to that moment as well.
Yeah, cheers, Paul.
Please, questions from the floor. I'm sure there must be many. Hazel, please.
You mentioned that there's going to be a business in a box that will help SMEs. When will that be ready, and what kind of things will be in that box?
Okay, so I've taken over SME marketing about 4 days ago.
Are you ready yet?
Yeah. I've inherited a product development team who are working on this. This is a number one mandate from C-level operatives to get this going. So there's a whole range of things covering business in a box, and what does it mean? I want to develop a business starter kit, for example. So every business will have a mobile phone, a fixed line, an internet connection, a website builder with full content management system, hosting, and so on and so forth. Then you come to the more evolved business in a box, where they have a TV, thank you, and everything else that's associated with it, plus all the collaboration tools like Office 365 and so on and so forth. So everybody can work together in a much more collaborative way online. You can share information, share documents, have a mobile workforce that are going out, taking orders, selling, and so on and so forth. Yes.
Hi, you mentioned earlier that young, smart people run SMEs and older people like yourself join corporations. I'm 65 and I'm just about to start my own SME, and I consider myself reasonably smart. I think there's a lot of people in the audience that consider themselves older rather than younger, and they're running SMEs. Do you think that perhaps Etisalat may start putting together some training courses for us older folks, and so we can become as smart as the younger ones?
question.
I think it's a kind of a slightly tongue-in-cheek question, but do you think that there's a possibility of Etisalat mentoring the older SME entrepreneur in the world of connectivity?
You're welcome to come and see me anytime.
And other questions, please.
A couple of years back, Etisalat launched a scheme in which international calls became cheaper if you sign in, but local calls became expensive, which the people did not know. So eventually you ended up paying more money. So how do you think these kind of schemes, after that I've never seen any scheme from Etisalat, even if it comes to me, I don't even bother. So how do you think these kind of schemes throw a spanner in good work that people like you do in the organization?
Yeah, I mean, all of these things I'm working on. But as I said, give me a chance.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And any other questions, please? The gentleman just here, table at the front here.
What legal challenges did you see in your international expansion? For example, the airline industry is fighting to get landing spots in certain areas. So what do you see there? You need, especially with your European experience.
In terms of what? Can you be more specific?
Well, that you don't get, like they're trying to consolidate roaming in Europe. Would they let you in? Things like that, where you feel you need to have a change to expand and fight with the competition.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole range of solutions that we're developing. But to be fair, Etisalat, as I mentioned earlier, is a rather large state incumbent that needs to get to be more dynamic, and it needs to be more agile, and it needs to respond to market conditions much faster than it's currently doing. There's another quote I can recite, is that for any organization, if the pace of change on the outside of your organization is moving faster than the pace of change on the inside, you will soon be in trouble, no matter how big you are. And you can look at the likes of Sony and so on, and other companies, huge companies that are now struggling. Which is where Etisalat needs to redefine its internal structure to develop products and services that are suited to the market, that are what the customer wants and what the customer needs, rather than what Etisalat wants to sell you. This is what my main focus is, basically on developing products, services and solutions designed to the needs of the SMEs today and tomorrow. And to make that work, apart from these events, we have built a huge transformation in our go-to-market model. We have a very, very large and new channel management section to proactively go out and visit customers, which was never done before. We have monthly workshops and portfolio feedbacks where we talk to 100 or so SMEs every month and get feedback on a one-to-one session so we can move forward with the market. This has never been done before in Etisalat. But all these things take time. It's sometimes pushing an elephant up a hill backwards. But, we're moving forward.
And we have time for one last question for Steve, please. Any questions?
Hi. Just a question probably everyone will try to avoid about prices. Sponsoring SME get connected kind of theme. Is Etisalat planning to have some kind of product or solution for SME to get connected to the world? Because as you know, Dubai is very much a re-export hub for the region or even internationally. Are you planning to have some kind of package for the SMEs to connect it to the world, through phones or internet, to be more of a facility for the local SME rather than another cost burden?
Yes, but it goes a lot deeper than that. If you read the latest edition of SME, one of my team, Mihai Rada, talks about segmentation. And segmentation is the key to all business. In my career, every single company I've worked with, which is Deutsche Telekom, British Telecom, and Virgin, everything was based on segmentation. Segmentation is where we cut, splice, cluster, and profile the entire market. And we break it down into small component parts. So if you can imagine and visualize a pyramid, which is what the SME market is here today, we have about 250,000 SMEs. Some are right at the top of the pyramid, some are down at the bottom. The metric of number of employees, turnover, and so on. And each cluster, not just from top to bottom, but from side to side, and every cluster within the pyramid has a different set of needs and requirements. There's no such thing as one product fits all, which is one of the things that most telcos have to learn. You need to have a portfolio of products that suit different clusters and profiles of companies. This is the way forward. This way, we are developing products and services that fit the needs of the cluster and the profile of the company that it's specifically developed for. Now, this may mean dedicated internet access. This may mean NPLS. This may mean 100 mobiles where you have closed user group sharing with access to collaborative tools, all backed into a cloud server or backed on a big e-hosting platform. The smaller ones won't need this. They need a configuration and much less than that. But we have developing not just products and services, but also the channels and solution architects and the pre-sales teams to go out and work with our SME customers to make sure that we understand exactly what they need. And believe me, some clients think they need X, Y, and Z, but actually they probably need A, B, and C because their knowledge is probably not as deep or intense as ours. And we work on a consultancy type of service where we sit down with the client, assess what they're spending all of their IT and comms on, and advise them of the best solution. And then, if we don't have it, we'll go and acquire it on a partner deal, or we build it ourselves. This is the way forward. And then obviously we try and map that across all of the other countries in which we work. But the UAE is the home for Etisalat. It's our headquarters. And this is where we are investing, and this is where we are building our business for SMEs. And hopefully once we've championed what we're doing here, we'll then roll out the same model at all of our other operations.
Steve, thank you so much. Please, a huge round of applause for Steve.